Congressman Emmer joins us on Hot Talk with the Ox. Hello, Tom. Welcome back.
Well, you're making me smile already, Ox. Good to be with you.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're smiling about something. I tell you, you've been in fuego. We played some of your clips from Fox News. I appreciate the press conferences you and Speaker Johnson have been doing about this government shutdown. We're hearing the senators went home. What's the latest, sir?
It's absolutely ludicrous. The latest is we're still where we were on October 1st. Chuck Schumer and Democrats in the Senate have shut the government down over a phony argument. They claim this is about health care, but they want $1.5 trillion in new spending, Ox, and included in that is they want to put illegals back on taxpayer-funded health care benefits, and they want to gut the $50 billion rural health care fund that we created last July with President Trump. Tina Smith is just lying through her disgusting partisanship when she says this is about health care. She's protecting Minnesotans' health care. She voted for a seventh time last night to keep the government closed. Because of her and because of all the Democrats in the Senate, and I'm picking on her in particular because don't go out and tell Minnesotans bald-faced lies and expect that no one will hold you accountable. I know the Twin Cities media won't hold you accountable, so somebody has to, and I'm going to do that. Because of your no vote, Tina, it's 13,000 National Guard troops that may not get paid in Minnesota next week. 100,000 plus Minnesota women, infants, and children who rely on the WIC program are going to have some challenges. 33,000 federal workers in Minnesota aren't going to get paid. Border and Customs Patrol aren't going to get paid. The air traffic controllers, the list just goes on and on, Ox. This is ridiculous. It's time to put the American people first instead of their ridiculous politics. I know they don't like Donald Trump, but for Chuck Schumer to say in an interview yesterday or the day before that each day just gets better for us. Well, okay, so it's getting better for you. What's it doing for all of these Americans that you're hurting? It's time to reopen the government.
Been there too long, Chuck Schumer, to make a statement like that and to not be publicly rebuked by his colleagues is also pretty much a testimony that they've been there too long as well. But Congressman, I feel like you brought up something that needs to get more in the public discourse on all channels, if you will. And that is whatever the Democrats want, whatever they're putting into that continuing resolution. Look, we're all there. You're all there to debate the issues, but you can't do it if the government's not open. I thought your statements on Fox were perfect.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is the issue that we've all taken. The House, the Republicans in the House, Ox, we did our job, right? We passed a clean, nonpartisan, which means it doesn't have any Republican priorities, doesn't have any Democrat programs that were taken out. It just kept funding at current levels. The negotiation in the House was we're trying to get back to a regular order appropriations process, something that hasn't happened here in decades, Ox. You know this has been my pet peeve from the day I got elected in Congress, that we have to get back to regular order and appropriating the right way, instead of these Christmas tree omnibus bills that come, months after the budget deadline. In this case, House and Senate actually had formal motions. I think it was the second week of September to go to conference on three of the appropriations bills that apparently they're ready to close up. They just needed a little bit more time to get those closed up, and then they were going to move on to the next three, et cetera, right? Because they want to have a full year budget funding plan. And we passed the clean CR, Ox, on September 19th, well in advance of the September 30th midnight deadline. And what did Chuck Schumer and Tina Smith and all these Democrats, Ossoff in Georgia, Kane and Warner in Virginia, I mean, you could just go around the country. All these Democrats literally are putting their politics first, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing to talk about. You can't finish the work unless the government is open. And now these guys have left town for the weekend. And by the way, Democrats, and I bet you that Tina Smith is going to be there. They're having a fundraiser in Napa this weekend. Yeah, all these people aren't going to get paid. They're going to get hurt.
Wow.
And they're out eating crumpets and drinking
who knows?
Wine.
Yeah, Chardonnay, whatever they make out there. Look, Congressman, let me ask you about the issue at hand. And I've said this, no congressperson is going to, if it's true, what the Democrats are saying, I don't know that it is true, but if it turns out to be true that some people's or that a lot of people's health insurance premiums are going to go up by almost $1,000 a month, well, I don't believe that you guys are going to let that happen. And so you're willing to have the discussion, right? It sounds like, as to what this is and actually solve that before the premiums go up that much if the government reopens. And the Democrats are not hearing it. They're trying to stick it on the CR.
Well, it's a great point. I mean, first, the reason our health care is so expensive is something called Obamacare. You realize that since that socialized medicine step was enacted, our health care expenses costs are up 60%. I mean, that's your problem. And these premium subsidies, you got two problems with those. These were put in the law. Was the Obamacare law, but in the Inflation Reduction Act, which was anything but an Inflation Reduction Act, the Democrats took off the income cap. So now someone earning $600,000 a year qualifies for a premium subsidy for their insurance. More importantly, you got a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse at the lower end because someone that's 400% of poverty or below, they don't pay any premium, which, okay, that's fine. But a lot of these people are being signed up without even knowing that they're signed up because the insurance company has no incentive to provide a cost value product, nor do they have any incentive to verify that in fact this is a worthy recipient because the federal government's just going to pay all their premiums. If these are allowed to expire, they simply go back to the income caps that were in place under Obamacare, which I think there's a lot of misinformation. But to your point, no, we want to fix this thing. The president wants to fix healthcare. This is the whole point of he wants to make America healthy again, and that means that you need to have access to the greatest healthcare that's provided in the world, and that is what Republicans are all about. But we can't get there unless they reopen the government. And I just got to comment on one other thing. You said Chuck Schumer's been here too long. He's been here 44 years, and the speaker told me yesterday, he said, you realize Chuck Schumer started here when I was in the third grade.
Wow. That's just over the top. And I'm glad he brought that up. And these people have been there so long and too long. So, I mean, for the record, you feel like there is a way to solve this issue that the Democrats are trying to do by forcing it into a CR that the Republicans aren't going to vote for. If the government reopens, you can hash this out. So we're not going to be faced with $1,000 extra premiums.
Well, I can't speak for the final solution. I'm the whip, right? I have my opinions as your representative, but as the whip, I've got members that are for letting them expire. I've got members who are coming up with different solutions on how to attack it. By the way, they were talking with Democrats before this ridiculous shutdown was shoveled onto us. They just want to get back to those discussions and see if there is some place where we can meet and get some assurance from the insurance industry that they're not going to screw all our constituents. That literally is, you know, when you're feeding at the federal trough, it's really hard for these people to wean themselves off and get back to a free market approach where they're actually competing with one another to provide the best service or product at the lowest price. That's the problem.
And further on this CR, Congressman, the people that are not getting paid right now, there's a lot of back and forth about whether or not they'll get back pay on this. Is this a non-issue? Is this just going to happen?
Well, I think it is a non-issue. There is a memo from the White House, I'm told, that's floating out there. I haven't seen it. But it really doesn't matter because in 2019, there was a law passed that does say, it's like the Something Fairness Act, whatever, that in these situations, the federal employees will get, the furloughed federal employees will get back pay. So I think that's in the law. Someone can prove me wrong and show me the law that has been quoted to me, but I think it really is a non-issue. I think it's another way to try and scare people. And, I know people in the White House are looking at all of this stuff, and I appreciate that because I think their predecessors just assumed everything was fine and never scrutinized, never challenged, never questioned. We got to keep doing that because this federal government's way out of control.
Amen. Hey, Congressman, will the government shutdown, if it continues, affect our live broadcast from your office at the state or at the U.S. Capitol in, coming up in about a week and a half?
No. I mean,
I'm still going to get in.
I've been here all week. I will be here when you come in, and we will look forward to hosting Ox in the Whip's office.
Wednesday, October 22nd, live at the U.S. Capitol, thanks to Congressman Emmer. Well, thanks for the update, sir. I'm sorry that there's such an impasse here, and hopefully just a few senators will come around on this. Can they buck the leader? I mean, is there anybody out there that can?
They can. They can vote. Our two senators can vote tomorrow to open the government, right? You only need 4 or 5 of them. That's it. And this thing about we have the House, the Senate, and the White House, people who are saying that ignore the fact that in the House, it only takes a simple majority to pass something, which is how we passed the clean CR with primarily Republican votes, all Republicans and 1 Democrat. In the Senate, you got this thing called cloture. You have to get 60 votes in order to get something to the floor. And that means because we only have 53 Republicans, you got to have at least 7 Democrats. That is how they're holding all this up. And by the way, before I go, I got to complain about Angie Craig. Angie Craig and 70-some other Democrats in the House sent the Speaker a letter yesterday or the day before demanding that we be called back to Washington to vote on one bill to pay our troops. And it's like, no, Angie. You had that vote on September 19th, and you voted no. You voted not to fund our troops. You don't get another bite at the apple. You want to bail out, call Amy, call Tina, tell them to vote for the clean CR in the Senate and reopen the government.
All right. Well, Congressman Emmer, I appreciate the conversation. It's frustrating. And hopefully before the mid-month paychecks are supposed to go out, this thing will reopen. Certainly by the end of the month, we want that to happen. But we'll see. Hopefully cooler heads will prevail, Tom.
I hope so. Let's put the American people first.
Amen.
These Democrats got to put the people first. All right.
Amen. Thank you, sir.
See you, Ox.
6th District Congressman Tom Emmer, the House Majority Whip on Hot Talk with the Ox.